Woohoo. What do we want to learn today, guys?
Just give me a second. Just trying to get this time here.
Shahad, I'm glad to see you.
Coming in.
Old names, old faces coming through. Acha, endless dawn is Malak.
Hey, Sadaf. Sadaf, can you rename yourself? Yes. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I can rename myself, but I need privileges to rename everyone else.
You should.
You have to make me co-host.
I see people trick. Right. I made you the co-host.
We have two mystery Shoma Acharyas around. We're excited to find out who you are. If you are up for it, turn your camera on and wave, and we can see who you actually are.
I am the original one. Anyway, so we started with our SoFer session while our guest is going to be on his way anytime soon. So let me just put this up. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. I see some people still in the waiting room, but I thought I admitted before, and then I can enable. Right. Okay, great. So let's get started. And before I start, welcome to all of you for our 7th SoFer session. Super excited to meet new faces that I see here today, and some of them whom I've met for the earlier session as well. It's been great having you for this session as well. So if you can, put your cameras on for the guest session, especially keep your audio off, and we'll have a lot of interaction happening after that, so you can keep your audio on after that. So while you're settling in, if your name still shows as Shoma, just make sure you change it to your original name. And just an FYI, you would be labeled as A and B. Please don't change that. It's for a fun activity that's coming up later today. Okay, so let's get started with what we have in store. So this is the agenda for today. We would have 2 blocks. The first one where we get a glimpse of the startup business world and learn about some exciting marketing tricks and tactics that we have, especially for customer retention. And I'm really looking forward to listening from each of you and for each of you to get a space to interact with your fellow SoFers, some founders, some to-be founders, and some who have just started their journey and learn along the way. So we'll begin our block 1 where I invite Kelsey to take over and ask you a little fun things about our session today.
Hey guys, I'm really glad that you're here to learn how to expand your business, how to get business for your business. And I'm sure a lot of you are thinking to yourselves like, okay, first customers are tough. How do I get those first customers to actually use this thing that I built? It's scary, right? It's like your baby, it's your piece of art, and it was so perfect to you, but it feels crazy to others. And it can be really, really frightening, basically, to have your first customers like try it out and take you seriously in any sense. So I want to ask you guys this, a couple things. Typing it out is the best. Obviously you can raise your hand too. We always love to hear your voices. But what do you think of when you hear the phrase establishing yourself? It's always that like very strong phrase, but what's the first thing that pops into your head when you think of what it means to establish yourself? Getting a good job and the branding. Nice. That's an interesting one. Visualizing your thoughts is a cool. Thanks, Erica. Yeah, Sagnik, I'll tell you right now, there's no such thing as ever settled dream life, but I feel you. Making yourself known, but to who, right? Awesome. Okay, and what do you think, how do you think people get their first customers? How do you think people go about doing that? How do you think that like that first, there's like such a big leap, your first customers. How do you think people get their first customers? Samantha, I like that. Arif is saying friends and family. People that you know. Advertising, Malak, is awesome because they say your first customers should not necessarily be somebody that you know. It's you get all like worked up and nervous. I would rather a total stranger try my idea than the people that I know. Depends. Obviously, you want anybody to try it when you're in those early stages, but the first paying customer who has no idea who you are, they just like the concept and they're willing to pay for it, there's nothing like that feeling. But tell me this, you guys. Next question. I can also put it into the chat. How do you think businesses get their first 100 customers? So you've had those first initial customers where you just like hustled, you devoured them with attention, but now you're at 100 customers. How do people get those first 100 customers?
Hello, Kelsey. So we just had another meeting, so we joined like 2 minutes ago. So can you like share with us what you're discussing?
Hey, Nada. I'm gonna rename you. I'm so glad that you bopped in like that. It's very welcome to do so. We're just kind of brainstorming right now what everybody's like opening impressions are when it comes to like, how do you get your first customers? How do you get your first 100 customers? Because there's a difference for sure. So that's what everyone's answers are all about. If you can saying word of mouth, networking from a Vichy, promoting themselves, not that whatever you think. All right, next question is this. What's it like to get millions of customers? How does the game change? Your first 100 customers, there's a lot of different methods, but what about when you were in the millions? How do things shift? What's it like to have millions and millions of customers? Persuasive techniques. Zanga's production. Definitely, roles become more defined when you have such a big organization like that. All right. Sure, you're kind of figuring out who the persona to chase is a little bit more. Thanks, Vidya. Improving your products. So I'm going to tell you, when I was young, I would try so hard. I was watching television and I would see these commercials come on TV, right? And I would tell myself, like, I don't buy any of this stuff. Like, how are they possibly making money off of me as a consumer when I don't buy any of the things I see in commercials? Even if I see a commercial for like a Kit Kat, I don't have any Kit Kats in the house. I end up eating a bowl of cereal because of my sweet tooth, whatever. So I'm always like analyzing the advertising side of things. All these, they make such minute decisions on these marketing teams. So I want you guys to just analyze that a little bit. What are some of the advertising minute decisions that are made in every single product that you ever buy? What are some of those big decisions that you think that they like sit around and mull over? What are some of the choices they have to choose between when they're deciding the most tiniest details that affect whether millions of people are going to buy that Kit Kat? Okay. And now they have even more chance of getting audience with obviously like Instagram algorithms. Psychological impact is big. How to make the ad stick in your memory, eye-catching, effective. And oh, wow, Arif, how do you normalize it? Would love for you to speak on that. Cool. Just the next thing I do want to know, because today's topic is a little bit about companies growing organically or like naturally versus companies growing with like paid marketing. So how do you guys think companies grow naturally versus paid growth, paid marketing? Ah, Arif, thank you. Being authentic, doesn't focus on money, nonprofit. Not necessarily, Erica. We're going to learn about like a little bit more. One myth about organic growth is that like you don't spend any money on it, but there's a whole team of people who are working on making organic growth happen, making sure that one customer leads to 5 more customers. There's a ton that is done when it comes to organic growth. Okay. And my last question, just in general, what do you guys hope to learn today? What do you guys want to gain? Like, I'm sure some for direct use that you want to do for your business versus like just the intricacies of how this works when you have millions of customers. Tell anything you guys want to learn today. Adi, very cool. Reaching out to people, Selma, is so scary, like I said sometimes, but it's so worth it when they actually like what you're offering, and they're learning from you, or they're gaining from your product. It feels amazing. But I feel you. Cool. Thank you, Vidya. We're excited for you as well. Thanks for just saying that. That's one step. First step into getting out of your comfort zone is telling all of us, and we will help you.
I have a question. So what's the B and A's before everyone is named?
There is some kind of scenario-based activity that's going to take place. You are either an A or a B. So just hold tight and bind. All right. We're really, really excited to introduce our guest speaker today. I'm going to pass to Shoma to do the proper introduction.
Thank you so much, Kelsey. So welcome, Dr. Abhinav. Thank you for being here with us today. So
hi, it's a pleasure being here.
Thank you. So a little introduction would not do justice to Dr. Abhinav, but I'll still try my best. So he comes with a lot of experience. He holds a PhD in electrical engineering from IIT Delhi and a business degree from IIM Lucknow, both of which are amongst the most prestigious organizations in India. After having 25 years of corporate life, he wanted to give back something to society. And that's when he has founded Million Sparks Foundation, which is a not-for-profit foundation focused on teacher capacity building through technology. He has a mobile application called Chocolate. I hope I'm saying that right. Please excuse me if I'm not.
Yeah,
that provides.
that's right.
Thank you. That provides bite-sized curriculum-linked contextual in class resources and trainings to enable teachers to improve their understanding in order to teach better. So really, thank you for being here with us today. And I would now like to invite you to take over and share your thoughts with the students. And before we open up for question and answers in the next 20 minutes. Over to you, Doctor.
Right. Thank you so much. And I'm sorry, I forgot to comb my hair before I set into this, and I'm seeing that my hair is looking very, very funny. But thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure. It's always a pleasure to talk to people who are thinking about businesses, who are trying to look at innovation, trying to see what more can you do, in your spare time or just to learn new skills. It's a great pleasure. And thank you so much for having me here. I'm coming in a little cold, I think. I'm not very sure of the complete background of you guys. So Shoma did tell me a lot about what you guys are doing, what you guys are learning about, and what kind of businesses you're looking at. But she also sent me a few set of questions, some very basic and some very, I would say complicated to just explain in a very, very quick and succinct manner. But, I hope my voice is, first of all, appropriately, the volume is fine. You're able to hear me. You're able to see me. I hope that's fine. Okay, excellent. So, the first thing which I'm looking at as I look at the kind of notes that Shoma has given to me. So what is a startup, right? People will give you a lot of information, a lot of different definitions with regards to what a startup is. But probably what has stuck with me is, the definition which a very successful entrepreneur out of India, his name is Vijay Shekhar Sharma. He set up Paytm which is a $15 billion company in India, which works in the financial sector. He said that it is an organization that you set up to solve a problem in your own way. So it's not just that it's an idea, you don't know what to do with it, you don't have anything other than an idea and a solution that you have in mind for a certain problem. It's about when you set up an organization, you are going about solving a problem, a real problem for people. And we can go through some of the startups that you are trying to look at and try to see what kind of problems are you solving, and you're solving it in your own way. Because if you look at any startup which is coming in today, the service that they are offering is already available in some form or the other. So what is it that you're trying to do? You're trying to solve it in another way. And typically what you're doing is you're solving it in a way which is either faster, either cheaper, or better. Ideally, all three. If you are able to find an area which is of interest to people, which people want a solution for, or they're facing a problem and they want a solution for, and there are solutions available in the market, but if you're able to do that faster, better, and cheaper, then your idea will probably go a very long way. Now, with regards to businesses, there are different kinds of businesses, right? You could open up an ice cream shop, you could open up a small grocery shop or a medicine shop or something like that. But these are lifestyle businesses, right? They don't really scale. Typically in today's world, when you think of startups, you think of scale, you think of thousands, if not lakhs or millions of customers. So typically you will look at something which will really scale well. So there are lifestyle businesses using which you can make a good, decent living. You can make money. But today, when we think about startups, you're thinking about things which will really scale. So a thing like a Paytm, a Spotify, a YouTube, a Google, these things are at a very large scale. I'm not necessarily saying that everybody has to pursue scale. It could be smaller, but you could be making a lot of money and good returns for people. So that's also a startup. But typically in today's context, we look at scale in a very big manner. Now, I'm not certain if, you guys have been told about, funding, because, that is one of the things that people really do talk about. Shoma, you'll have to tell me whether, the group here understands funding in any manner, or should I spend some time on funding itself, Shoma?
You can give them a little bit of insight.
Okay. So, when you look at funding, and maybe before that, let me just tell you about my own self, right? My background, I am, sort of from India. I did, like Shoma said, a PhD from IIT Delhi, but, that's just academics. What I've done subsequently is I've worked for 8 years developing telecommunication software. I designed mobile networks, which you see today. But when I started off, there were no mobile phones in India. There were no mobile networks. I was fortunate enough to contribute there. But after that first 8 years, I actually set up India's first incubator, where we were building businesses, where we were thinking of new ideas ourselves, getting funds for them, and then scaling those businesses and selling those businesses to larger businesses. So that is what an incubator typically does. And then subsequently, I've run a $2 billion company. And then subsequently, right now, I'm doing a education not-for-profit. And in the incubator, and I will explain what an incubator is. I also did something like 12 companies, which I mentioned, I think. But these companies were in different areas. They were into healthcare. They were in human resources. They were in military communications, and so on and so forth. Now, coming to the point of how does a startup get funded, and what is it that you would typically, what are the steps that you will have to take before you can really start to see scale? So typically an idea, like I said, right? What's a startup? It's a organization that you create to solve a problem which is close to your heart, and do it in a scalable manner, in a manner that you would like to do, right? So you have an idea, you have a problem, you want to solve it, and now you want to create an organization. So therefore you will need money. So either the idea is such that you would be able to deliver or develop yourselves, you have all the skills which are required to do that, which will typically not be true for an organization which will scale. You will go to a set of investors. Now, the first investors that you typically go to would be your family and friends. So in any startup, when it's starting, either you put your own money, or you go to some close friends, families, and ask them for money. So that's called typically a friends and family round. So there are multiple rounds of capital that you raise, and with each capital raise, you make some progress. So you don't have to really perfect whatever you're doing at the first go. It will happen progressively, and with each stage, you have to be able to sort of ensure that with each fundraise, you're able to make more progress and make your business more real. The objective finally of a startup is to be able to successfully execute that smallest unit of the solution that is there in your mind in a profitable manner. The entire business need not be profitable, but at a unit level, it should be profitable. So when I'm looking at some of the examples that you have said, right? So I'll just pick up one example which Shoma shared with me, that there is somebody who's suggesting that he or she wants to create a business where you create cakes for people with special dietary needs. So essentially, the first and the foremost thing that you have to do when you're thinking of this business is create a cake and sell it for more than the price that you are sort of paying for the ingredients, right? That is the basic fundamental thing. Because if an individual cake is not profitable, you will not be able to sort of scale it further, right? So that's the first thing that you will require the money for. So probably your friends or family will give you money so that you can bake enough cakes to perfect that particular piece, that okay, one cake is profitable. Now subsequently, what you need to do is you need to be able to produce multiple cakes, more cakes, with every single day that you're putting in your business. So you will raise more funds, maybe buy machinery, maybe set up a small shop where you can start to sell these, hire a couple of people. But what will enable you to become profitable is, so if you have one cake which costs, the ingredient costs you 50 rupees or $50, and you are able to sell it for $100, you are saving $50 on a single cake. But suppose there is a shop that you are taking on rent, or you're buying equipment, or you're hiring people. Now those $50 which you're saving on one cake will go towards selling those, paying for those salaries or the shop, etc. So you have to now sell enough cakes so that you are able to pay the complete salaries of whoever you are hiring, and you are basically the shop rent or the salaries, they have to get paid for by the profit that you're making on one cake. And so you have to make enough cakes so that you can pay for that. Now somebody will pay you initially so that you can take that shop on rent. Somebody will pay you initially or give you money or fund money to you so that you can hire a few people. But then over a period of time, you will have to ensure that the entire operations is profitable enough for you. Now, initial money will be given to you by friends and family. Then you will have to go to what are called as angel investors, who take a lot of risk in giving you the initial money so that you can go to the next stage. Then you go to VCs. Once that initial thing is done, then you go to venture capital to seek more funds so that maybe you can make more cakes, automate it more so that there is greater profitability. You can source the ingredients from places where you can get it for a lesser amount of money, so that you have greater profitability. So these are the various stages, right? So you will initially get money from friends and family, then from angels, then from venture capital, and then slowly the company will become profitable, and you will maybe create more shops, hire more people, start to sell even more cakes, and eventually you will have a very, very large business. Maybe you will be able to set up some business which is like a cheesecake factory, and you'll have hundreds of such shops and you will make money. So that's how it progresses. Now, but what is important is, how do you ensure, and probably that is the primary purpose of this session, is should I take questions in between, because there are some questions which are flashing.
Right. We'll take questions in maybe 10 minutes.
Okay. So, the important thing is, how do you get the word out? How do you ensure that, people become aware of your offerings, and people, start to order to you, right? So just taking the example further, when, the example of creating cakes for people with special dietary needs, you will have to do multiple things to figure out how do you ensure that you're able to, reach out to people who have that particular need, right? So, I'm just taking this example on the fly, but dietary needs, right? So there is a whole set of people that is there in your neighborhood where you have opened the shop. So maybe there is a catchment area of 5 kilometers within which, your customers will come from. So one way would be to maybe, send out a sort of a brochure to every single household, print something and send it to every single guy. That's one way of marketing what you're doing. The second way would be maybe to send an email to everybody, maybe a Facebook ad to everybody. And, Facebook now allows you to localize the advertisements, etc. The other way, which will be maybe a little more efficient, would be to go to the local dietitians, or go to the local chemist, or go to places where you can find these special dietary foods and figure out who are the people who are buying it, and maybe leave your brochures with those people, or get them interested in giving you the names of these people and the contact information of that people, so that you can narrow down that particular thing. And maybe, one of the first things that you could do is provide these cakes, etc., for free to the first few people, with a promise that these guys will share their response or their feedback on your product on, on your website, or, with their friends and families, so that your catchment area of the number of people who could buy from you increases. So, the whole objective of marketing would be to, first of all, identify who is the best people or the most likely people who will buy from you, identify where you can find those people, and ensure that you start to provide them a service, and try to identify who are the influencers within those, and provide them the service, so that they can then share this with you. So some of the influencers in this cake example would be people who have these dietary needs. It could be dietitians, it could be people who are selling special supplements or food supplements. And each of these people, if you are able to connect to and ensure that they talk positively about you, and, not only in their establishments, but on social media and others, you will slowly start to get more and more such people, to you. So that's one thing which we wanted to say. There is always a confusion between people with regards to what is the difference between sales and marketing, right? So sales is when you have a product in place, when you have a product proposition in place, and you are basically then trying to ensure that you are selling more and more people, selling that particular product to more and more people. Marketing is when you are ensuring that people become aware that the product is there, even when the product is not there, and you basically try to understand from these people as to what is the right product that they will need. So the objective of a startup is initially to create a product, ensure that the product is actually fulfilling the needs of the people that it is meant to fulfill the needs of, so that there is a product and market fit So you will hear this a lot when you're thinking about startups, and especially when you're talking to people who have done startups or who will be advising you as mentors, etc. So one of the most important things that every startup strives to do is, first of all, identify a problem, identify a solution, which could be a product, which could be a service, which could be any such thing, and then identify the right audience that it needs to approach, which will be the right buyers for that particular product. Ensure that the initial set of people who are influencers, who are the early adopters of that particular product, get to see that product or service, and then you take feedback from them with regards to what is their reaction to that, whether they like the cake or not, whether they really like your travel website or not, and so on and so forth. And once there is this thing established, modify the product so that the product market fit is there, so that you don't have to, be it, otherwise it will become very, very difficult for the consumer to actually adopt your product or service. So that's the second thing, right? Now, what are the other questions, right, which has been asked? What's the basics of promoting your business, right, which I have to a certain extent explained. You have to ensure, first and foremost, before you start to make investments into really promoting or marketing, you have to ensure that there is a product market fit, which has been sort of established by approaching a smaller set of customers and taking good feedback from them. And once you are confident there is product market fit, then you have to go and maybe bring in more funds, because while we are saying that organic and inorganic, and I was listening to the session just before, to the speaker who was speaking just before me, what she was saying was that some of you also responded that when you're doing an organic kind of a promotion, it's slow and you will not be able to scale. But also the fact is that it is cheap, because you're not employing any resources, you're not making any advertisements, you're not spending any money on Facebook or Twitter or whatever. And on the other hand, when you're going to the inorganic mechanisms where you are actually spending marketing dollars, you will end up spending marketing dollars and not get any customer if there is not the product market fit is not correct. So once you have the product market fit, then you have to get more capital and then really go after marketing. And today, probably one of the most effective ways of marketing is the digital medium. There are various ways of doing it. There is, of course, advertisements like you do on Facebook, on Twitter, on other mechanisms, or on television, radio, or on the print medium. But today, there are other ways of doing it also. So, there could be influencers. So, if you're talking about cakes, right? There could be a very famous, cook, somebody who has a bakery as well. And if you can work with him and, sort of create videos on YouTube, where that person is making or baking a cake as per your specifications, and, sharing it on YouTube, and you can always saying that you can get this cake in this particular shop, or you can order this cake from this particular shop. So that's something that is done very, very effectively today. There are lots of influencers of that kind of, or in every single kind of area which you can actually hire, or maybe collaborate with to do such kind of marketing. But more and more marketing is happening on these digital channels. A lot of WhatsApp messages are getting exchanged. You could try something, you could make some funny videos and actually send it across. That is extremely effective. So in our case, for example, it's a slightly more serious business where we are training teachers, but we do a lot of videos where we work with teachers who are very accomplished and who have won awards, and we work with them to create videos where they are sharing what their experience is working with us, and those are put onto YouTube, on Facebook, or even broadcast on WhatsApp. What else? Is there anything else, Soma, that we should talk about? Because there is a bunch of stuff, and you said that I should speak for 20 minutes and then maybe take questions and answers.
I mean, I'm enjoying learning from you, and I'm sure all of the students, I can see some of them even taking notes. But I think I'll kind of ask a few questions from the students. I see a few questions that have already been sent. Would anyone like to unmute yourself and ask a question to our guest speaker? I mean, well, or maybe you can type it in the chat box. I see one question here. Before I go to that, Dr. Abhinav, I wondered if you could just like tell the students a little bit. I mean, all of these are in a phase where some are already done with their business ideas, some are working on them, and some have just started the journey, right? So what is that one, I mean, I wouldn't say one, or where do you think these students should start when they think about their business idea?
So, that's a great question, in my case, what I've always done is I have a bunch of formats, which are very much freely available on the internet. I don't know whether you have come across these. One is called the business model canvas, and there is another one which is called the lean canvas. And essentially what it does is, in a single page, you're able to really think through your business very well. So, it has things like, what is the unique value proposition that your business is bringing in? Why is it different from whatever existing solutions are there? So that's one thing that it does. It asks you, what is the problem that you're trying to solve, right? So there's this format. I don't know whether you have seen this. So you can actually access it on the internet itself. If you search business model canvas, and if you search for images, I don't know, I'm unfortunately talking to you on the phone because there was some problem for me connecting to this link on the laptop. But if you do, just go to images.google.com and just write business model canvas. I'm doing it as we speak. I would have loved to show it to you. I don't know whether somebody could project it, but essentially, like I said, there are things like, what are the problems that you're trying to solve? What is the unique value proposition for your business? What are the key partners that you will have to have in this business? So, this could be supply chain partners. This could be, partners who are helping you sell it and stuff like that. What are the key activities that business will be involved in? What are the key resources that you will require to set up this business? Not just cash, but are there any specific relationships that you will need? Are there kind of skill sets that you will need in the people that you hire? Then what are the customer relationships? How do you build these customer relationships? What are the customer relationships that you will have? What are the channels through which you will sell them? What are the key revenue streams that you will have? Say, for example, going back to the cake example. So selling a cake is definitely one key revenue driver. The other could be just selling a recipe book. The third could be having a website on which you can come and maybe take online classes with regards to how to make cakes. The fourth could be selling ingredients to make the cake. The fifth could be just selling the, different shaped containers in which you could make cake. So, the various revenue streams, and what are the various cost elements? So cost elements could be rentals for shops. Cost elements could be employee salaries. Cost elements could be the various ingredients that you need to have for the cake. The cost elements could be, the ovens that you have to buy. The cost elements could be the marketing and so on and so forth. So this is a very comprehensive single page view, but I'm saying it looks very trivial and you would want to, sort of fill it in the next, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, but I'll say, think through it and actually apply your mind when you fill this particular format. Similarly, there is a business model. So there is a business model canvas and there is a lean canvas, very similar, but you can fill both of them. One more thing, since I saw one particular business model that Shoma shared with me, which was around, a business which will basically bridge the information, or, maybe bridge a restaurant and a homeless center. I'm assuming that what you're thinking is that in a restaurant, you will always, always have food which is leftover. And there could be a business which takes over this leftover food and actually gives it to the homeless children, right? So in that, probably the motive is not really making a lot of money. So although you could actually charge the homeless centers for the, sort of leftovers as well, but typically this is a social enterprise. So, maybe at this juncture, I should say there are businesses which are driving just pure profits. There are businesses which are profitable, but their sole objective is not to just drive profits, but also to do good to the world. And there are businesses which will never be able to make profit, but are still existing, at the back of some grants and funds which the public is giving for them to exist. Say, and I will give you an example of all. So a business like Amazon is there to make profits and more profits. Then there are businesses, say for example, like a hospital is, right? An hospital or a school, while profitability is important and sustainability is important, but it's also important that, you don't overcharge a patient, you don't overcharge somebody so that, they can't pay fees for the school. So the profit is limited. And then there are businesses like Red Cross, etc. So, people who provide ambulances for free and so on and so forth. So these are three kind of businesses. So a business model canvas typically caters more to the profit side of the business, or maybe best to the sustainability business. There's another model which is called the theory of change, which is for businesses which are seeking grants to do good for the world. And basically what it says is that there is the whole objective of that particular format is to figure out a business which is more to do good to the world. And in that, the format is simply, what is the current problem that you're trying to solve, and on the other end, it is how will the world look like once you have implemented the solution. So in between, there are things like, what are the activities that you will do to actually solve this? What are the intermediate steps towards reaching this end goal that you have? So theory of change. So the change that you want to see in the world and how that change will come about, what activities will help you change, ensure that that change will happen. What are the steps that you will have to take? What are the assumptions that you have? That kind of a thing. Sorry, it was a long answer, but I tried to, draw in a few elements so that there is greater understanding of the various kinds of businesses which are there.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And we really appreciate. I'm sure that all the students are kind of getting more of an understanding with regards to the funding and the process that goes into it as well. I think we have time for 2 questions. If any student wants to ask the question right now, we'll go with, there's one question that I see over here. That was from Anika. Anika, would you want to ask the question? Yes, Anika, go ahead. Let me unmute you.
Okay, like in the question that I sent in the chat, I was referring to because we had said that we would get we would invest 50 into making a cake, then we would get 100 profit out of it, meaning we have still 50 left for us in our own need. Then you still have to pay your employees, then you have to the salary and give it out. Then you have to pay for equipment, meaning we'll say you give away 30 or something for all of that. That would be less, but and then you still have around 20 for the area you have to pay. So then in the end, nothing stays for yourself. So you don't really make a profit out of your own business. You're still spending time and all your work into it without gaining profit yourself. So it's kind of, do you understand the situation?
Yeah,
I see.
understood. So Anika, where are you from? Anika, where are you from, if I may ask?
I'm from Germany.
Germany. Okay. Hi. So Anika, it's a good question. So basically that tells me I was not able to explain what I was trying to explain previously very well. Maybe I was also a little nervous just getting into this conversation. So, let me explain it a little further. So what I said was, every business, if it has to be successful, the fundamental thing is that at the unit level, it has to be successful.
Yeah. So that would just be the first case, right?
That's the first cake. Let's look at this, right? So you have you charge $100 for a cake. The cost of the ingredients or making that cake is 50. You are left with 50, right? But your shop may be for $1,000 and your employee may take $500. So there is 1,500, which is additionally there, which you have to pay for. And you will also want to make some money. So maybe you want to pay yourselves $1,000 as well. So you actually want to have $2,500 profit to just cover this cost. right, that you have put in.
Mhm.
Are you with me?
Yeah, I understand.
So there is $50 that you are making with every single cake. You have $1,000 that you want to pay yourselves. There is $1,000 that you want to pay your employee, and there is $500 that you want to pay to your paid for the rent of the shop, right? Let's just take it in a very simple manner. So you can always say, okay, I don't want the salary initially because I want to build that business. So for you to be profitable, right? Not profitable, but at least break even without even your salary, you should be making 1,500 rupees or $1,500, right? Now, if you're saving $50 for one cake, you will finally have to make how many cakes? 30 cakes. Because 30 into 50 is equal to 1,500. Only then will be able to pay for the shop, and you will have to pay for the employee, right? Now, for you to reach 30 cakes, how much money do you need for baking of the cake?
Yeah,
Since you
also
have to make
1,500.
again 1,500 rupees. So initial investment that you'll have to do is of ingredients enough to take 1,500 only. Then will you be able to make enough money so that you pay those things. And if you have to make your own money, take home $1,000 yourself, so you'll have to bake 50 cakes, and that will not happen in the first day. So the investment that you need from investors, maybe from your family and friends or from angels, is to ensure that you have enough money to last you till the time you're able to make 50 cakes in a month, right? Because I'm just talking in a month format, right? Because 1,000 for the shop will be a rent for the month, and 500 you have to pay your employee in a month, say for example, right? So you should be able to bake at least 50 cakes in a month. So you have to reach that business. That will not happen on the first day. Maybe it will not happen in the first month. So you have to take money from your investors, enough money, or maybe invest it from your own pocket so that you can last that much time. So for example, if you were to think that you will not sell a single cake for 4 months, your expenses is 1,500, assuming that you don't want to take any money for yourselves. So you will have to take how much money from your investors? $6,000 to last those first 4 months. Maybe in the 4th month, you're able to sell, 50 cakes. You don't need money subsequent from that month, because then you will be able to sell more and more and more, right? But you'll have to take money for the first 4 or 5 months so that you can reach that place. And so you'll have to raise that much capital. Was that
Yeah,
was
it
that
makes
something you
sense
understood?
now.
Great.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mathur. I mean, I think that was a very detailed understanding for everybody who was kind of thinking of how that's going to work. And I know we're kind of running over time. And is it okay for you to take another question?
As many, I have time. I'm I just to watch Suits on Netflix after this.
Okay, so I just saw another hand up. So we'll take this last question and move on. I don't see the hand up again. I'm sorry. Who was that who wanted to ask a question? I just saw a hand go up and then went up. Yes, Gia. Gia, you can unmute yourself.
Hi. So my question was, after the 4 months also, but if we are not making that kind of profit, so should we continue with it or make some changes with it, or should we drop and see for something else?
So, see, there are different kinds of businesses, right? When I'm looking at a cake business, typically, they are easy to start to make revenue, but difficult to really scale, right? Because there is hardly any differentiation, different kinds of cakes, right? And I'm not saying with any disrespect to the person whose idea that is, but typically there will be businesses which are scalable, which are not, right? So there will be businesses where it may take a little more time for you to reach a place where it can become profitable. So therefore, don't think that at the first time you take money, you will be able to succeed. That doesn't mean that you don't try to become successful by the first time you raise money. Maybe, you should try to become successful even without raising capital. But the point which I'm saying is, there are businesses which take money again and again and again and again till the time they are able to reach that position of profitability. But when they are able to raise money again and again, they're able to do that because they have a vision, and that vision and the execution plan is completely understood, and they can explain to investors, see, I am taking money right now to reach from point A to point B. Then I will raise money to reach from point B to point C, and why I will not be able to reach directly from point A to point C. So these are steps that I'm taking. Say, for example, Amazon, I don't know whether it is successful or rather profitable even now. Some of the very, very large businesses that you are aware of, they're not making profits, but they have a structure where they are saying that, look, we are profitable in a cake per cake basis, but maybe we will become profitable when we are able to sell 1,000 cakes, right? But I need money right now to prove to you that I can go from 0 cakes now to 200 cakes. And once I've reached 200 cakes, I will ask you for more money so that I can then invest and take it to 1,000 cakes, at which time I will be profitable, right? So it will depend upon how your business is, how is it structured, and what is your own belief in that model, and are you able to convince certain investors also to actually invest in that model. But extremely important is that right from the beginning, you should try to ensure that your eyes are extremely focused on ensuring that you remain profitable at a unit level, if not immediately, very soon, and that your problem, the solution that you are working on, is something which is acceptable, in the sense there is a product market fit. So if you have these two things, if you have enough people who say that we need this product, they're willing to buy that product, and you are able to make money on an individual product at scale, you'll be able to become profitable. So Uber, for example, right? Uber has taken, I don't know, 10, 20, 30 billion dollars of revenue. I don't think they are profitable even now. But the thing is that they're saying, if at a stage when there will be maybe 100,000 taxi rides every hour around the world, I'll be profitable. So they're continuing to invest. So it differs from business to business, type of business to type of business, the vertical you're in, how futuristic are you? Are you among the first players in this? How convinced is the investor who's backing you? So it will be on that. It will be rather on that. So there is no generic and a single straightforward answer to your question. But yeah, if you are exhausting your money and you don't really know, what is the problem in your business model, or you have no further ideas what changes you want to make in your business model so that it will go towards profitability, it's a warning sign. I'm not saying you should necessarily shut down your business at that point in time, but in business you have to always be on your drawing board every single day, trying to see how you can improve your profitability, your product market fit, your investor confidence, and so on and so forth. So that's something that you have to do every single day.
I think this is one very valuable solution that you just said for everybody, right? I mean, be very active and be on your drawing board every single day. I mean, that's like something that all of us have to do. All of you as founders and budding founders, this is something you need to look at, right? Every day, what is happening, what is working, what's not working, and as you said, that definitely failures will be there, but take that as a stepping stone to see what did work and make that happen.
So every day you have to think faster, better, cheaper. Faster, better, cheaper than the competition, and faster, better, cheaper than your own self, because the competition is also thinking faster, better, cheaper than you. So only those people who are paranoid can survive.
That is great. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Mathur, for being here with us today and sharing these insights. And I'm sure these budding entrepreneurs will, benefit from this, and they've come up with great ideas and questions as well. I love the way you kind of put them in a direction, told them to be updated, see that you gave them an understanding about incubators and fundraising. About the business model canvas, a little bit, I wanted to tell some of the students who've just joined the academy. We do have a part where we talk about the business model canvas somewhere around week 8 or 9 that students get to take part and do their part as well. And I love the way you brought in a little bit of organic marketing as well, because a lot of students are working around that model as well. Well, thank you so much, Doctor. And it's been great having you with us today. I hope you and your family stay safe. And I mean, all the students have sent their support for everybody here in India. So we're sharing that with you as well. Thank you so much, Dr. Abhinav.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. And it's a pleasure interacting with you. Would have loved to take on as many more questions, and I'll be happy to answer if you want to send any questions subsequently also to Soma. I'll be happy to answer anything that you would ask.
Right. I just have one small message that I got in my inbox on anonymous grounds to tell you that you're amazing and what you shared with everybody was really helpful. So thank you so much. That is coming from a student, and I'm sharing that with you.
Thank you so much. You're very kind. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. So what we'll do is we'll take a couple of minutes water break here. And yes, Dr. Abhinav, is it okay if the students connect with you on LinkedIn? I see some messages coming in here. If that's okay with you and if you are comfortable.
Yeah. I have no problems. Absolutely no problems.
Right. Thank you. So what I'll do is I'll give all of you all a couple of minutes here and we'll move on with our block 2. So if you want to hang around here or just go step out, get a glass of water and come back, we'll meet here in 2 minutes from now.
And I can leave, right, Soma?
Yes. Thank you so much, Doctor. Have a good night and enjoy watching your Netflix.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you. Erica, I will share his email address and LinkedIn contact with you as well. So, okay, since everyone's hanging in here, let's try doing this. I see Sadaf. Sadaf, hi. Let me just try doing this. Just let me know if I can see my screen. Can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so this is block 2. This is what we are doing. We have fun activities lined up for you, but before which I'll kind of go a little quickly over what we have planned for you and why we're doing it, right? So let's give it 1 minute because I know some just stepped out to get a glass of water, and I'll also probably quench my thirst and be back in 30 seconds. Okay, so I'm sharing the LinkedIn profile of Dr. Abhinav with you all. It's in the chat box. So let's get started here, right? So now that you all heard a lot about what goes on to creating your startup as amazing founders and the brilliant business ideas each of you have, I thought as founders, a lot of things come into your mind, right? How do we get to our customers is one major question a lot of you have asked me during sessions and while I have meta calls as well, right? So what is all this about? What is marketing all about? Well, even what Abhinav was saying, it's something that we don't really need to allot 75% of your budget into, right? We don't need to put all our budget into printing costs and building your website and presentation slides. But it definitely needs, it definitely is a place where you need to put in deep thought into what you want to present or create, right? You have to create a list of everything you're going to need each time you make contact with a prospective client or a customer. right? So instead of trying to reach all the people, like if you're trying to meet like 100 people some of the time, narrow your target audience or narrow your customers to like the highly qualified or the key niche group, right? Rather than going into 7 networking groups probably every 2 months, what you can do is get into 2 groups where you meet the best prospective people every week. Another important thing is when you want to be a good business person, it's kind of all around being good, right? So like just being a good person, what do? You help others out. That is something really that matters as a founder. And the last session that we had was on networking. And if anyone tells you that networking is a good marketing advice, that's something that there is a reason for, right? Because this works. When you go ask the people, when you go and ask people, when you meet them, what leads they're looking for and listen to what they have to say, trust me, they'll repay you in kind. They'll have a lot of connections, and that's how you're going to grow and reach out to a larger group. Customer service is another important part because your customers are a game changer, and definitely acknowledge them whenever you can. So going ahead with the 2 kind of concepts that we wanted to go over a bit before we move to an activity here. So there are 2 kind of marketing tactics that marketing categories that we are discussing here. One part is the sorry, why does this come up here? Sorry about that. Right. So one part is the organic marketing. What is organic marketing? Organic marketing is best used to develop your brand voice, enable authentic, like natural interactions with customers, educate them, convert your blog readers, drive people into your landing pages. So it's ideally like a natural way of growing without spending a huge amount of money on. It's more of relying on your creativity by forming good relationships with your customers so that they grow. Like you need to grow, you need your customers to grow without spending a lot of money and without a huge marketing budget. So when you're thinking of getting into profits and getting into all of that, this is something that you want to look at as well, right? Organic ways of marketing. You rely heavily on word of mouth, where customers bring in more customers. Paid marketing, on another hand, is another form of marketing where money is involved. It's ideally a form of marketing where you allow your business to target, reach, and it's quick, right? It's something happening in real time. It's much quick, but it's an artificial way where you're like reaching out to a larger group. So instead of waiting for like clicks or waiting for someone to read your blog, you're kind of putting that, you're pushing that there. You're putting it out in forms of ads or you're sponsoring it. I'm sure some of you have seen on Instagram or Facebook, you see these sponsored ads that will come up there, right? So that is a paid form of marketing where you're directing it to your target audiences. And now as such, it's more sales forward and focused on driving to specific directions. So I know I kind of spoke a lot. So what I'll do is I'll do a little fun thing here, right? So these are a few questions I want to ask you. Now, some of these are paid and some of these are organic forms of marketing. I want you to go into the chat box and tell me like if A is organic, so you can put A, O or AP, just whichever one you want to answer, put it into the chat box with the question number A and your solution for that. We'll take 2 minutes for this. Nice. I see a lot of answers coming in. Okay, a lot of A is going into organic. Okay, I think I'll start giving out the answers in 30 seconds from now. Arif, good job. Right, okay. Nice. Wow. Great. I mean, you all are like absolutely right in your answers, honestly, because I would say both of them kind of are correlated at times. But I'll kind of tell you the answer key here. Like, for example, the first one, right? Where you buy one, give one to a friend, and then you're inviting a friend. So that is the organic form of marketing. When you're talking about an Instagram post about eating healthy with a link to your website, that is again a organic form. But if I was having a paid sponsorship happening there, it would have been a paid form there. The other ones which are paid are D, that is where you're having a celebrity or an influencer where you're paying them to endorse your product, right? If they were doing it for free, definitely it would have been an organic form. Desktop, mobile banner advertising, these are all organic forms. And I got an amazing, sorry, that was a paid form, and my bad. I got an amazing question from one of you, and this is something that I need to bring up here, right? Which is better, right? I mean, so when you think about it, neither is better than the other. When you're choosing how you want to market your brand online, absolutely, Arif. I mean, both are cool. It's not one or the other kind of decision, right? Organic and paid are capable of working together to create an amazing, effective marketing strategy. Paid advertising is amazing because it allows any business at any stage of their development. So maybe midpoint where you have to boost your traffic or get more brand awareness, you can do paid advertising there. When you're starting off, if you have the money, you can do paid advertising there. So your business can run the organic search marketing campaigns in the background, which then improvises it to be more of a cost-effective kind of a method over time. So when you're literally thinking about which one to choose, the choice is entirely up to you and your business, right? Which suits your situation best. Like any method that you want to use and try out, this is what you're going to be doing. So now let me call upon our amazing mentor Sadaf to take over this part of the session here and head us on to an activity.
Thank you so much, Shoma. Thank you so much for your amazing explanation on some aspects of marketing. I'm going to go ahead and talk about different tactics that you can use. And these are mostly, usually organic ways of, talking about your business, about your projects. And, one of these is word of mouth. This is pretty straightforward, that you are literally just telling everyone and anyone you know about your business, and you are sharing that, and you're just telling them like, hey, let them know. So this is like a chain of people learning about your business. There's also a way to leverage influencers. So maybe you are friends or you're acquainted with an influencer. You can just be like, hey, kind of subtly put in my product, and that way you can find a way to, I guess, in a free way, advertise your product, because you're just like, okay, or you can be like, oh, I'll advertise your product if you advertise mine. So it doesn't cost you anything, but there is an exchange there. You can also create FOMO, as you all know, fear of missing, the fear of missing out. I'm sure you all understand what that means. To basically, have people feel like they're missing out on something. Like you can create that a little bit when it comes to, I don't know, posting like Instagram stories or Snapchat stories or on TikTok, whatever you guys are using. There are ways to create that sense of FOMO. And if everybody has this thing, we all want it. Also finding, things offline. So not necessarily doing everything online. They're obviously online, and doing everything on the internet is amazing and really helpful, but also just going out there and telling people about your business, and telling people physically in your class as well. Right now is kind of not the ideal time for that, but in normal times, telling people in your classroom, telling people on the dinner table, anything, and just kind of spreading the word from there. And lastly, of course, inviting your friends. The best way to do it is just invite your friends, be like, hey, I really like this product, tell your friends about it. So yeah, those are a few of the many ways you can advertise and market your product. So with that being said, we have a fun activity lined up for you guys. So you have heard enough of us speaking, and now it's time for you guys to collaborate. And what you're going to do is you're going to look at the image on the screen, and this image can mean anything to you. So maybe this is like a gym, a fitness center, a health center, whatever you think it is. This is your business. So you're going to be put into teams, and you are going to work with your team to create a marketing plan. So you can create a plan that's organic, You can create a plan that's paid, or you can combine both. You're going to choose up to 3 strategies, and you're going to work together with your team to create a plan to advertise and think of the best way to market this business. As soon as you guys are done, you're going to come back and we're all going to vote on which team we thought had the best marketing plan. So Shoma, if you could put them in teams, I think it's going to be 4 teams or 5 teams. 4 teams. All right. So you will be placed in 4 breakout rooms. You have 15 minutes to talk amongst one another and create a plan for this fitness business.
Oh, I already see some people joining in.
Give them
Hello again.
Everyone's back in. Hi, Malak.
Hi.
I see a very fancy logo out there of the Endless Dawn.
Oh yeah, thanks.
All the best to all those graduating next week and all those who are joining us and graduating in a few weeks from now. So over to you, Sadaf.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I hope you guys had fun. I hope you guys came up with amazing ideas. I know that you did. So I'm really looking forward to hearing everything. All right, this is what we're going to do. So we have 4 teams. And according to the room that you are in, so room 1, your team 1, 2, team 2, and so forth. So let's start with team 1, room 1. We want you to present your marketing ideas and feel free to have fun with it, you know, like do something fun. You don't have to like just tell us, like make it fun, present it, and please, everyone else, take some notes, pay attention, because you will be voting at the end of everyone's presentations for who you thought had the best strategies. All right, so team 1, please show of hands who you are, and please go ahead and start presenting your ideas.
I didn't really pay much attention to it, but so can you please confirm if I was in team 1 or not?
Okay, so let me announce the teams. So team 1, we have Arif, Dhanushri, Ai, Nadine, and Gurnur. That's team 1. So team 1 can go. After team 1, we'll have team 2 going in. Team 2 is Bhumika, Erika, Gia, Mara, Anika. That was team 2. Team 3 is, I'm really sorry if I can't pronounce this name. Right. So team 3 is Maikala, Malak, Mary, Jasnoor, Marina. That is team 3. And team 4 is Consti, Nada, Selma, and Vidya. Okay, so I hope you have your teams. And let's get started. So team 1, Arif, Dhanushri, Ai, Nadine, your.
Yeah, sure.
Please put your cameras on. We want to see your amazing, beautiful faces while you present. So please, if you could, cameras on and go ahead.
My Wi-Fi is running really slow, so I can't. But so I will start with the organic part. So what we had in mind was for the first week, we would either use our own money on sources or from the funds from Angel to start our gym, in which we would basically provide most of the facilities that would come to mind when you think of fitness, from weight training to Zumba to yoga to meditation, the first week for any customer would be free, so they can come try out. They would all have the option to give reviews on a site that we would create. And from the first day, we would have organic social media marketing. Like we would have our gym, like an account for our fitness center, where we would upload photos of either clients who have become fit, achieve their goals, or of the trainers and stuff. And we would advertise why we are better than other sites, and also uh, how our like clients are more satisfied and stuff using their examples and reviews. Uh, so this was the plan for the first branch. After we have the amount of funds, or we are planning to open another branch, we would start adding nutritionists, one doctor, really well trained trainers who could train you in fitness, and they're also well trained in first aid and health. So we could use that as a marketing pitch. Also, we would have uh, fitness plans and nutrition plans for people who have special needs, and we would put that on brochures and stuff to use that in an organic way. And after we have a couple of branches and stuff, we would move on to the paid ones, which would be recruiting big athletes or big trainers who have who already have some popularity, and we can use their names to basically advertise ourselves. Uh, and we would pay highly for regular COVID tests and stuff, which would like attract people, and they would not have to worry about safety. And uh, on for the mixed part, we would offer uh, customizable groups that you can make family discounts and age discounts and stuff. Yeah, so in a nutshell, that's it.
And then we have like trained professional trainers who are like experienced in like CPR and like all that stuff. And we also have efficient sanitizations during COVID times.
Awesome. All right. Thank you so much, Team One. I hope the rest of you are all taking notes. These are really, really good ideas. Perfect. Okay, let's go on to Team Two. Shoma, can you tell us who's on Team Two? And Team Two, please turn your cameras on and ready to present.
Right. So team 2, we have Bhumika, Erika, Gia, Mara, Anika. Floor is all yours.
Right. Hello, guys. Yes, so concerning the current corona situation and restrictions, we decided to have like an online fitness course so people could just stay at home and participate. And we have 3 strategies in total, and I will present the first one. The first one would be that the students would be our customers. So we would reach out to schools by just sending out emails. And we would also coordinate this whole thing with the educational system, so that they would accept us as a course and as a foundation. And then we would reach out to schools, so they wouldn't, the students wouldn't need to pay. For the students, this would be free because the educational system, the whole country or state, would pay for this course. And so the students would be just able to use it in the class with the classmates. And right, then probably they would also recommend it to other schools, and this is how we would have our advertisements. Also, there would be a different subscription. So people who want to use this privately, like students, they would be able to also reach out to us and just have a private subscription. Then they wouldn't need to use it only in the class, but also like privately. And they would need to pay for this, but they would get a discount because they're a student. Right, so this is our first strategy.
Thank you, Erica, for sharing these suggestions. And I don't want to pass any comments right now because all are amazing ideas. I'm keeping everyone to them.
We have one more strategy.
Right. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, for the second strategy, like we all have grandparents, right? Everyone have, or if we don't, we have elder people who take care of us. They are always there for us when we need them. But in this time in pandemic, we are not able to reach them, and and we often listen that teenagers are losing their energies and adults are losing their energy due to being in one room. But what about the citizens who are not much familiar with that technology, like our older parents, our grandparents? They're not much familiar with using technologies. We keep ourselves busy, like on Instagram and this and that. But their only way to socialize was go out and meet their friends. And right now, they can't do that. So we can present like a gift of fitness, like we teenagers and like adults can buy our parents, like our grandparents, fitness by gifting a gift card which would have a course which would be specialized for them, because older people have certain problems and they have to take precautions. So we would meet them and like decide what kind of would be suitable with them, with like professionals, with only the help of professionals, and that could like will be very helpful for them during the pandemic.
And then we had like a last strategy, which would be to reach out to influencers and like get them to promote our courses and everything, and to like reach out to their friends and be like, oh, you could also promote their like courses because it's online. And so through that, we would also have an organic way of getting promoted.
Yes, Adam, go ahead.
No, it's all good. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Team 2. Those were amazing. And thank you, everyone, for participating and sharing. All right, let's go to Team 3.
So Team 3, we have Jasnoor, Marina, Mary, Michaela, Shubhan.
Okay, so our first idea was to go for social media, which is including Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, and possibly more other applications. So doing so, we'd be asking regulars of the gym to post videos of themselves doing workouts or pictures or anything that they're comfortable with, and to kind of like not really advertise for ourselves, but like get our brand out there and known. Our second idea was to give 50% off to a certain amount of people undetermined that join, that are the first to join, to subscribe to, I guess, the gym, to have a membership. And the third idea is to have merch. So have like water bottles and wristbands, which have our logos. And if we do decide to have a marketing pitch, then we did possibly have the pitch on there somewhere. Yeah, that's it.
Perfect. All right. Thank you, Team 3. And let's go to our last team, Team 4. And again, if you could, show your beautiful faces, turn your cameras on while you're presenting.
I literally am in such a dark room. I cannot switch it on right now, but all right. I am just gonna go ahead. First off, disclaimer, I speak a lot and I speak really fast, so I'm just gonna try and go slow. we did come up with quite a few strategies, not gonna lie. So if I have to organize it in like 3 words, I'm gonna go from organic, then paid, and then a little more paid, if that makes sense. So first off, we start off by networking with people who are local. You know, we collaborate with local people, and we bring up curated online courses for people. So we make like a website for that, and we then get a social media and keep updating it regularly for getting an audience. So once we have curated an online course for people, we use the word of mouth to kind of like get people to test it out. And then if they like it, if they like the program enough, they can promote it through emails, they can recommend it to their friends, and also through their social media. So after like a month of testing, we start getting feedback from people. And if needed, we improvise on our existing plan. And if not, we move on to the next section, which is the ones whom we collaborated with earlier, the ones who actually curated these online courses. We let them be a shareholder in this entire idea. They can hold their own workshops, or they can get like a personal training system. So they get like a batch of people whom they can train online or even offline. So the thing is, whatever they do, we get a share from that as well, since they're doing it through our platform. And eventually, we start charging people or taking donations for all of the services. That part comes like eventually. We also, since we're going like online first, we move on with affiliate marketing as well. Because like if we do affiliate marketing like a proper type, then that can give us some revenue as well, like a good amount of revenue, not gonna lie. And once we have enough revenue, we can then collaborate with an influencer to test our product out and then be our ambassador. Because like being an ambassador is like a more long-term thing. So that, and once we have an influencer as an ambassador, we of course raise more FOMO, and that gives us a larger audience and exposure. Furthermore, we begin to earn from all the traffic and stuff, and we implement all the money that we get so as to maybe buy more equipment and to use, oh yeah, so buy more equipment as in from online. This is where we go to like the more paid stuff, and we maybe localize it a little bit and create a gym strategy for people in the local areas to use it. We can open branches as well. And we have also thought about like investing this money for like preparing merchandise, which we can give to the customers. And the customers who actually get the merchandise can get featured on our platform or even on in the social medias, so that you know, the other people who are like looking at our social medias, they'll be like, okay, they not only have like an influencer who is an ambassador, they're also featuring people who have the merchandise. So that would attract them more towards this entire business idea. And further, we just continue to earn revenue from the social media engagement, marketing, and promotion altogether. So that's like the idea.
Thank you so much, Sagnit. That was amazing, incredible. All of you had amazing ideas. It's amazing, like what even I'm learning things as you guys, you know, create your ideas together. All right. So what we're gonna do now is, if you hopefully you've seen a poll pop up on your screen, you're gonna vote for which team you believed had the most effective and efficient strategy, and that will be the winner for this activity. All right, the votes are coming in.
There were like 5 team options in the poll.
Right.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. The fifth team is not there. We just have 4 teams. So just team 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Okay.
I mean, honestly, I loved all the ideas you have come up with, and the way you all incorporated the organic ideas and paid ideas. You kind of looked at the situation that's going on now with the pandemic and made your versions to it. Put in things in terms of online classes, have influencers in there. I liked how you all kind of are giving like the first week free. I think I'm not saying which team, but yes, these ideas are great. I love the ideas from each team that came in, kind of branding on water bottles and merchandise. That's also a great thing. And FOMO, I mean, Sadaf also spoke about it, right? That kind of creates the whole thing around it. So good job on that. And we are still waiting for 4 more votes. I don't know who's missing. Yes, there's somebody, okay, yeah, sorry. 5 people who have decided not to vote. I think they are taking the stand on everyone's a winner. So 5 seconds and we declare the winner. I mean, to me, all the teams are winners. Sadaf, I'm sure if you want to say something here, but if I publish the results, any comments?
Yes, I agree. I think that anytime, you get together and you put your heads together and you create all these ideas, you're always going to win. And each time, like each person brings a different asset. So I think it's great. I hope you got to meet different people, people that you haven't met before in the SoFer community, and, stay in touch with them or create more, connections with them as well. So thank you all for participating. Okay, so Shoma, should we announce? Okay, so the team winner is team 4. Great job. Great job, team 4, for all your hard work and thought process and everything. You did amazing. Congratulations.
So do we have Savnik taking the stage and giving us his winning speech? I know his hands were shaking and okay. So congratulations, everyone. Thank you for, thinking so much about the business ideas and the marketing strategies that would work around it. So I know we have 6 minutes, and before closing, we probably wouldn't be able to do the other activity we had planned, but I want to leave you all with some amount of information here. Right now that you all have created your marketing strategies, you all know how you all are starting with your company. There's another part that is important, right? Which is about customer experience. This is kind of very critical for all of us. Not only for large companies, as we think that customer service is only for huge companies, it is for all the companies, right? Many companies find it difficult to put customers first. Now, a number of growing startups are prioritizing customer experience from the beginning, and when you do that, that is when you really get great results. So I wanted to share about an Indian startup. For those from India, you would know about Zoom Car, and those who are in other countries, like in US, we have budget rentals. I'm not sure about the other countries, but yeah. So Zoom Car is an Indian startup that is a market leader in self-driven cars and self-driving cars and car rentals. So what this company does is it has a diverse team that goes into the entire car renting journey, right? To look for ways to continually make it more simplified and efficient for customers. So this is something that you need to do when you're thinking about your customer service. So Zoomcar has identified key points in the rental journey that kind of help customers. Where is it that there is a gap? What is happening? What are the customer service metrics that they have decided for themselves, right? So all these things they do, they have a detailed customer journey map, and that kind of keeps everybody in the company on the same page when it comes to kind of dealing and helping customers. So with these kind of thoughts, I'm kind of leaving you all with a few takeaways as you build and think about your organization, and as you build out your marketing strategies. it is important for you to consider how best you can address all your business goals through a combination of definitely the organic and paid marketing strategies. No one way is better, honestly. If you would ask me, I would say both of them are involved with each other. Some goals will lend themselves into one another. Other goals may require a combination of working hand in hand. Either way, both types of marketing will help you achieve your business goals with impact and efficiency. It's how you want to place it. And when both sides of marketing are feeding your funnel of getting customers together, that's when you found your perfect balance, right? And once you find your perfect balance, as our resource person also told us, don't stop right there, right? You need to update yourself every day. You need to be testing, fine tuning it. I mean, probably failing, succeeding. It's going to be a journey that goes on every day, right? So, for these ending thoughts, I'm going to share our Instagram page and our YouTube link in the chat box for all those present here so that you can go and follow us there. This session is also going to be up on YouTube shortly for all those who've missed, but I've really enjoyed listening to all your amazing ideas. And thank you for coming for our SoFer session today. Stay tuned for the next one. We do have an exciting one coming up in a couple of weeks. And thank you for all those who logged in from countries where it's late night, but it's been great having you all here today. Sudaf, would you like to say something?
Same sentiments I have. Shoma, thank you all for being here. And thank you, Shoma, for hosting such an amazing session. You are incredible for putting this together. It's people like Shoma and like the other mentors and other people on the team that work really hard to make sure that you are having a valuable experience here at SoFer. So thank you, Shoma, and thank you all again for being here and for doing all the teamwork. And yeah, especially in India, it's super late there. So really appreciate you guys sticking it out.
Thank you so much. So I know many of you all don't get a chance to hang out and meet your fellow SoFers. I'm going to stop the recording. If you all want to stay back, if you want me to put you in a breakout room, I can do that. So if you all want to, just let me know. I'll put you in a breakout room. So if you want to talk, discuss, share about your journey,